Now, my favorite one, and hold off everything till I explain this because you're going to need an explanation. I can tell I've watched Lucy and Ricky Ricardo because every time I talk, I'll say splain. I have a habit of saying, I'll splain it, explain this to you. One of the things I have enjoyed showing people over the years when I go to Israel, I'm sitting down with Jewish people, and we get kind of into some theological, biblical, conversations. I always take a napkin, I say, hey, I got to show you all something. This is pretty cool. And I promise you, it leaves them stunned. I've actually had them get up and in a nice way dismiss themselves because they had something to do. I've had others just totally freak out and just start reading the New Testament. So I'm going to show you one of the most amazing codes in the entire Bible that has to do with the crucifixion of Jesus. I don't know if y'all are ready for this. Now don't bring anything up till I do all this, okay, guys? Pilate put an inscription on the cross. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. John 19:20, then this title on the cross, then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near unto the city, and it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Latin for the Romans, Greek for the Greeks, Hebrew for the Jews. Now you know by reading the 4 accounts in the Gospels, scribes and Pharisees and priests are at the cross. They're not reading it in Latin or Greek. They're reading it in Hebrew. Now, the 4 Gospels all worded a little different on what the inscription says. John was there. Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Translating the Greek, because the New Testament was written in Greek, back to the Hebrew, the key to doing this is a Greek letter omicron. It's an O. The omicron can be translated and is translated in the Bible as and, of, the, or a goat, a sheep. Omicron, just a little O. So what you do is you read the setting to see, is it the, is it and? Okay, does everybody understand that so far? What is strange is this inscription, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, is similar to an inscription that was written over a temple in the city of Pergamos dedicated to Zeus. Long before the crucifixion was that temple in existence. And that temple inscription reads, Zeus of Pergamos and King and God. Now, the reason I show you that is the omicron in that inscription is translated as of and also translated as and. Not Zeus of Pergamos, King and God, but of and. In Hebrew, this is how you can absolutely read the inscription on the cross using the omicron, translating it similar to Zeus's inscription because that's what Pilate had in mind, probably, was copying that inscription and just putting it on the cross. Yeshua ha-Natzri v'melech he-Yudim. All right? Now, let's put the inscription up. If you take the first letter of every Hebrew word and drop it down, which is another system of rabbinical interpretation. Yeshua, the first letter is a Yud. Ha-Natzre is the letter He. V'melech is the letter Vav. Yehudim, the Jews, is the letter He. Now, maybe that means nothing to you, but that Yud He, Vav He is found thousands of times in the Old Testament. It is the sacred name of God, Jehovah. The reason that's significant is A Jewish writer wrote about at the Passover in Jesus' day and even before and after, that when they would bring their lambs, there were so many lambs, all lambs look alike. What happens if somehow you put your lamb down because you can't carry it all day long and it gets lost in the group? What do? They used to take a thin string and attach a bronze name tag with the family name hung around the neck of the lamb, so that if it got lost, they would recognize the family name, or God would recognize it when it was offered that the family had kept the Passover. Jesus is crucified at Passover. He's called the Lamb of God, but he's God's lamb. So God decides to put his name over his lamb.